today's show, the BMW i3 Sport sacrifices range for performance, the Fisker eMotion is set to debut solid-state battery technology at next week's CES, and what happens when a Tesla Model X goes all ice road truckers in the unusual deep freeze gripping the US East Coast right now. These stories and more coming up next. This is Ecotricity's ecoTEC roundup show from New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company. We're 100% Kiwi and 50% community owned. Switch today at ecotricity.co.nz. Hi there, I'm Nikki, your resident ecoTEC host and fan of all things that make the world a cleaner, more sustainable place to live. And if it gets you from point A to B, well, that's even better. Last year, BMW announced it was going to bring a sportier Model i3 to market called the BMW i3S, and now it's here. Lower in ride height and with a slightly wider track, the BMW i3S also introduces a new sport mode, giving a slightly faster sprint time and a sportier feel than the standard i3. As you might expect, given it has the same battery capacity as the standard i3, the i3S trades a little range of performance, and this week the EPA told us just how much the i3S is eating: 7 miles, 11 kilometers, less than the standard 33 kilowatt-hour model. Given most people don't drive to empty, I'm going to suggest the difference is negligible for day-to-day life. So if you want a sportier feeling i3, you may want to get down to your local dealer and give the i3S a spin. Nissan's all-new 2018 Leaf may have just launched around the world, and yes, the review is on the way, I promise. But we're already starting to hear about plans Nissan has for the 2019 Leaf. You see, slides from a recent Nissan presentation suggest that Nissan is working on at least a 225-mile, 360-kilometer range for next year's Leaf, as well as a 100-plus kilowatt DC quick charging and 60 kilowatt-hour battery pack. It's not a secret per se. I've heard similar stories from Nissan insiders, but it's nice to hear I'm not the only one hearing these particular rumours. Following its standard practice, Tesla unveiled its previous quarter delivery and production estimates this week, setting a new personal best on quarterly deliveries with increased Model S and Model X sales, helping it shift just under 30,000 cars in Q4. That would be a great figure on its own, but while Model X and Model S both experienced a massive year-on-year increase in demand, just 1,550 of those nearly 30,000 cars delivered last quarter were Model 3s, a figure that puts Tesla far behind on its own guidelines for Model 3 and is forcing it to push back its 5,000 Model 3 per week benchmark for a second time from the first quarter this year to the end of the second. But while Model 3 news isn't so great, the Model S is now officially the US's most popular electric car, sneaking past the Nissan Leaf for the first time in terms of total volume. For as long as I can remember, naysayers of electric cars have tried to argue that mass transition from petrol to electric would bring the electrical grid to its knees, causing brownouts, grid chaos, and the kind of mass hysteria which is usually reserved for cats and dogs living together. But a new study this week of California grid data by the Natural Resources Defense Council shows that even in an electric car-friendly state like California, there's plenty of extra overhead for hundreds of thousands of cars to charge. Add in time of use incentives where EV owners make use of off-peak electricity to charge their cars for less, and it's very, very unlikely the EV revolution will bring the grid down. So relax, it's all good. I'll link to the study in the show notes below. Next up, it's time for a quick reminder about Ecotricity's ecoWHOLESALE energy product that could be saving you up to $400 a year on your home electricity bill or $4,000 on your business electricity bill. It works by linking you directly to 100% renewable wholesale prices after paying a small admin fee, and it's the most affordable carboNZero certified electricity that Kiwis can buy. So make sure you sign up and start saving those pennies today by following the link below. Next week, well, in a few days actually, I'll be taking a team to CES in Las Vegas, where we'll be covering a whole slew of new exciting tech from the automotive world and the energy world, as well as new concept cars from Kia, Hyundai, Toyota, and other mainstream automakers. We'll be seeing a mind-reading concept from Nissan, which it says will make self-driving a little more pleasurable for occupants, since the car will be able to sense what you want it to do, as well as some new interesting vehicles from brand new companies like Byton, Lightyear, and many more. But perhaps the car I'm most excited to see is the Fisker eMotion, a vehicle which will debut and, says its creators, showcase a brand new solid-state battery that will give 400 miles of range per charge and take just 9 minutes to add more than 125 miles of range, not to mention full LiDAR capabilities and a starting price of $125,000. Watch this space because we'll be providing content from the show every single day starting this Sunday. Over the past few years, you've probably watched as electric cars have gained an ever-increasing share of the market in Norway, first claiming a few percent of the market, then a quarter, and then a third. Well, now, thanks to high sales volume from automakers like Tesla and Nissan, electric cars occupy a massive market share in Norway, with more than half of every new cars registered on the roads in Norway today having an electric drivetrain. Well done, Norway, and here's to other nations following suit. And if you think it's just Norway leading the way, think again, because this week, China announced its plan to expand its electric vehicle incentive program to get more of its citizens plugging in rather than pumping gas. In addition, it's officially banned the sale of 553 models of various petrol cars, which it says are too energy inefficient. Interestingly, too, some cars banned include models from Audi, Beijing-Benz, that's Mercedes' Chinese partnership, and Chevrolet. The ban comes at a time where China's capital, Beijing, is experiencing its best air quality in 9 years, thanks in part to its new tough stance on fossil fuels, and also coincides with the announcement that Chinese megacity Shenzhen has transitioned its entire public bus fleet to electric, with more than 16,000 electric buses now on the city's roads. Watch out, world, China's coming for the green title, and if it carries on this way, it'll probably get it too. And finally, we all know that Tesla Model X has proven itself time and time again in cold weather, thanks in part to the ongoing vlog of Bjorn Nyland, or Tesla Bjorn as he's more commonly known these days. But this week, thanks in part to the extreme cold weather affecting parts of the US, we got to see a Tesla Model X do something that we've never ever seen it do before: help tow a spun-out 18-wheeler after the big rig got stuck in a snowstorm in North Carolina. The video here explains it all, although the driver and owner acknowledges that you really shouldn't try this at home, and I'm going to add that doing so is certainly using your car beyond the scope of what it was designed for, so if you ever think about doing it, you're on your own. Okay, and on that note, it's time for me to bring another episode to a close. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, tell your friends about the show, and if you've got some feedback, be sure to send it our way. As always, I'll be back soon with more ecoTEC goodness, so make sure you hit that notification bell to find out the minute a new show is uploaded. In the meantime, have a great weekend, make sure you do something fun, and don't forget to help keep those wind turbines spinning by switching to New Zealand's only carboNZero certified renewable electricity company. Thanks for joining me. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Ka kite! See you next time.